Hi. So I wanted to talk really quickly about what to expect from a workshop with me. I use a pretty common style of critiquing known as the Milford style, named for the Milford workshop. And if you're curious about that, you can Google around on Milford workshop, Milford. So what we do is we go around the circle. Each person gets a chance to talk. Usually they speak for a specified amount of time, 2 to 3 minutes tops. You don't have to use all of that time, and one way that you can save some time is if you agree with someone, you can say ditto Kate on the world building, or if you disagree with somebody, you can say anti-ditto Stephen on the character motivation. What usually works is to start out with what is really going well in the story? What do you want more of? What do you really love? What, in other words, should the writer be turning the knob to 11 on? And you're doing that for a couple of reasons. One is that your critique will sort of go down better with the listener if you start with what you like and give us the reasons that you like it, not just I like it. And also, it is something that is really useful for a writer to know what is working, what are the strengths of the writing, what needs to be made more of. Generally, I prefer that you speak towards what I call big picture issues, things that as the person decides to develop the story past this draft, things that they can use to guide them. Things like plot or world building or, again, character motivation. And I'll link in the notes to a blog post on revising. And generally, it's a sort of details covered in stage 1 of that. And I've got a couple lists of things that you can look for if you're really stymied for things that you should be talking about. Generally, don't talk about typo level stuff. And the reason that you're doing that is A, it's aggravating, and B, it's inefficient. If it's a scene that somebody's going to cut entirely, then they don't need to know about the typos. So if you're going to talk about that sort of stuff, do it at the pattern level. Say, for example, gosh, you consistently spell the word cauliflower wrong, and so I'm just telling you, you might want to go look up that word. And that's just going to be handier, and that gives them something that they also will know and can apply to their writing going forward, which is overall handier. So, and then after you've all had a chance to go, I will go, and I usually wax more than 2 or 3 minutes. Usually I try to speak in a way that is useful to everyone. I try to bring in sort of things about process and generalizations about writing that everyone will find useful. And part of my philosophy is that you will get more out of critiquing and listening to people being critiqued than you actually do from being critiqued yourself. Being critiqued yourself is great, and it will be some useful feedback, but one thing that you're going to have to do with all that feedback is figure out what to do with the contradictory bits. And listening and critiquing other people is what's going to help you sort that stuff out. So, that's what to expect of a workshop, and if you've never had one before, don't worry. I haven't had anyone perish yet. No one's head has ever burst into flames, and I believe I am correct in saying we've never had anyone cry. So, if you are wondering who has endorsed this message, it is the God of Thunder, it is Tiny Crocheted Cthulhu, and, of course, Wonder Woman. So, come to the workshop and see what you think, and feel free to ask me if you have questions about it. Looking forward to it. Bye-bye.